Dear friends, Dr. Joseph Murphy explains in this chapter that if you want to build harmonious relationship, you have to understand the concept of harmonious relations from the standpoint of your subconscious mind. If you think that someone should think about you as you would be, you must think about them in like manner. As you would that men should feel about you, feel you also about them in like manner. As you would want men to act toward you, act you toward them in like manner. The author has tried to explain this concept with an example which is very common in every sphere of life. You may be polite and courteous to someone in your office, but when his back is turned, you are very critical and resentful toward him in your mind. Such negative thoughts are highly destructive to you. It is like taking poison. You are actually thinking mental poison, which rob you of vitality, enthusiasm, strength, guidance, and goodwill. These negative thoughts and emotions sink down into your subconscious and cause all kinds of maladies and difficulties in your life. When we judge someone, it means we are thinking about arriving at a mental verdict or conclusion in our mind. The thought we have about other person is our thought because we are thinking it. As we learned in previous videos of this book, our thoughts are creative. It means we actually create in our own experience what we think and feel about the other person. The suggestion we give to others is actually we give to ourselves because our mind is the creative medium. When we know how our subconscious mind works, we are careful to think, feel, and act right towards the others. By applying the aforementioned process of thinking, one can emancipate oneself from petty problems. Our subconscious mind is neither compassionate nor vindictive towards something or some idea or someone. The way we think, feel, and act toward others returns at last upon us. Dear friends, we have to observe ourselves, observe our reactions to the actions of people, conditions, and circumstances. If someone's opinion or action disturbs us, it is our evil because our negative emotion robbed us of peace and harmony. The author had shared the story of a woman whose husband got furious when he reads what certain newspaper columnists write in the newspaper. These reactions emotionally robbed him of inner peace and tranquility, leading to illness. On consulting a physician, he had recommended an emotional reconditioning. This woman approached Dr. Joseph and he invited the man to see him. When the man meets him, he counsels him about how his mind functions. Dr. Joseph told this man how emotionally immature it was to get angry when others write articles with which he disapproves or disagrees. He began to realize that he should give the newspaper man freedom to express himself even though the latter disagreed with him politically, religiously, or in any other way. In the same manner, the newspaper man would give him freedom to write a letter to the newspaper disagreeing with his published statements. He learned that he could disagree without being disagreeable. He awakened to the simple truth that it is never what a person says or does that affects him. It is his reaction to what is said or done that matters. In a matter of time, the symptoms of his illness has disappeared due to his emotional poise and serenity. The author had shared the story of a head employee of a department who was very bitter toward his junior colleagues. Her colleagues gossiped about her because of her unfriendly behavior, always expecting to obey her and not giving them their due importance, and also talking to them in an irritable tone of voice. This gossiping happens because of her own thinking and action. But due to this, she began to hate all womankind. Author had suggested a process of prayer to this woman who had hated other colleagues, explaining to her that when she began to identify herself with spiritual values and commenced to affirm the truths of life, her voice, mannerisms, and hatred of women would completely disappear. The prayer was as follows: I think, speak, and act lovingly, quietly, and peacefully. I now radiate love, peace, tolerance, kindliness to all the colleagues who criticized me and gossiped about me. Creative intelligence leads, rules, and guides me in all my ways. The practice of this prayer transformed her life, and she found that all criticism and annoyance ceased. She discovered that there is no one to change but myself. Dr. Joseph Murphy informs as well as entertains us with real life stories. One day, a salesman came to see me and described his difficulties in working with the sales manager of his organization. He had been with the company for 10 years and had received no promotion or recognition of any kind. Arthur explained to him that undoubtedly the cause was to a great degree within himself, and that his concept and belief about his seniors bore witness to the reaction of this man. He was filled with bitterness and hostility towards the executive. What he gave out mentally, he was inevitably bound to get back. The salesman realized that his inner speech was highly destructive. He changed his mental conditioning on the suggestions of Dr. Joseph Murphy. He began to pray frequently as follows: I am the only thinker in my universe. I am responsible for what I think about my boss. My senior is not responsible for the way I think about him. I refuse to give power to any person, place, or thing to annoy me or disturb me. He repeated this prayer, imagined, and felt the reality. With the repetition of prayers and belief, he was promoted to the next grade. Friends, other person's opinion cannot annoy or irritate us except when we permit him to disturb us. We irritate because we give thoughts to his remarks, and with this we generate an emotion of rage, and then reaction and action takes place. When we become emotionally mature, we do not respond negatively to the criticism and resentment of others. To do so would mean that you had descended to the state of low mental vibrations and become one with the negative atmosphere of others. If a personality is devoid of love, it sickens and dies. Love includes understanding, goodwill, and respect for the individuality of the other person. The more love and good we have for other person, the more comes back to us. If we did not respect other fellow's ego and made him feel less important, we cannot gain his goodwill. Recognize that every man wants to be loved and appreciated and made to feel important in the world. Dear friend, Arthur had mentioned in this chapter the tale of an actor who once performed badly on the stage due to a wrong script. The audience disapproves his act and passed bad comments on him. In anger, he left this profession and started working in a drugstore. The actor once listened a lecture of Dr. Joseph on how to get along with ourselves. This lecture changed his life. He went back to the acting profession, and before doing an act, he began to pray sincerely for the audience and himself. He had repeated this prayer and visualized it. This technique works, and now he is a great actor. There are difficult people in the world who are twisted and distorted mentally. They are mal-conditioned. These kinds of people are mentally prepared to commit a crime or a bad act. They are argumentative, uncooperative, cynical, and sore in life. These kinds of people are psychologically sick. We would not condemn a person who has polio, nor should we condemn a person who is mentally ill. We should have compassion and understanding. To understand all is to forgive all. The hateful, frustrated, and the one who is not clear in his ideas is out of tune with the universe. He is against those who are peaceful, happy, and joyous. Usually, he criticizes, condemns, and says or writes unpleasant things against those who have been very good and kind to him. He wants to drag them down to his own level. The above characteristics show that misery loves company. When we understand this, we remain unmoved and calm. Friends, Arthur suggests us that do not permit people to take advantage of us and gain their points by temper tantrums and crying jacks. Be firm and but kind and refuse to yield. Refuse to contribute to their selfishness. Remember, do that which is right. We are here to fulfill our ideal and remain true to eternal verities. and spiritual values of life which are eternal. Thank you for watching.